Good morning, guys, and welcome to Wednesday's FRT Gold live video. Hope you're all doing well and looking forward to what is another decent day of racing. It's, of course, day 2 from the Punchestown Festival, and there's also some good flat action on today. And as well as that, there's a really interesting, actually, a Hunter's Chase card at Cheltenham this evening. Kind of steering away from that in terms of tipping. We might give you a little bit of shout a little bit later on, depending on how the day goes. But that should be an interesting watch, and as I say, it's day 2 of the Punchestown Festival. Some great races there. The Punchestown Gold Cup, of course. And as well as that, we're on the flat over at Southwell on the Fibre Sand on the all-weather there. And there's also racing from Ascot, Pontefract, and then at Brighton a little bit later on. So plenty of action once again taking place for today. If you did want to join in a live Q&A session, or if you did want to ask any questions about any of today's tips, even request your own tips, or get my opinion on a certain horse or a certain jockey, anything like that, then please do feel free to join in the Q&A session, or send me an email, joe@freeracingtips.co.uk. Get in touch via Twitter at freeracingtips7, sorry, and then it's facebook.com/groups/FRT Gold. If you wanted to join in on all of the events on the Facebook page, where there is plenty, where not only I should give all of the tips for today, but plenty of members also share their thoughts, and a really good place to get involved there if you're not on that already. So there are all the ways you can get in touch. As I say, as always, please do feel free to do so. Talk a little bit about yesterday, and it sort of sums up the last few days, really. A really frustrating one. Not much going our way in terms of luck at the moment. Of course, I'll hold my hands up. Maybe the horses weren't quite good enough, but I did feel as though yesterday we did have a bit of bad luck, to be honest. Brown Pete was the premium tip, and this horse actually finished second. And it was strange, actually, because I really sung Oisin Murphy's praises and said what value he was for his £3 claim, and that he's a top jockey. He still is. Don't get me wrong, he's a fantastic jockey, and I really don't like giving jockeys stick a lot of the time. I think they do an outstanding job, but I will say that I would imagine Oisin Murphy would be the first to say that he might have just got things a bit wrong on Brown Pete. Gave a horse that was in decent form a long lead, of around about sort of 25 lengths or so. It was a big lead that he gave this horse, and in the end, Brown Pete was absolutely storming home, but he'd left with too much to do, and could have been a different story there, and perhaps that was just a little bit of inexperience from Oisin Murphy. But no, I'm not going to sit here and just completely destroy him. I think he'd be the first to admit he might have just got things a bit wrong, and it was just a case of bad luck for us there. But you have to go again. That's what happens in racing. We do. Our tips, as much as I give them, we are putting it in the hands of others as well. So frustrating there. Then also the Little Earner, which was Royal Holiday, was at 9-1, backed all the way into about 4-1, and this horse actually managed a third place finish, which you think, all right, not the best, but a little bit of each way profit there, no problem at all. But 3 non-runners meant that there were only 7 runners in this one, and that means just 2 places for each way money, so didn't even manage the place there, and I think that just summed up the day, really. And yeah, really frustrating, but hopefully this luck will turn itself around, and let's hope we can have a really good day today. I'm feeling in good spirits as always. I think we've got some decent horses lined up for today, and let's hope that we can bash those bookies. They deserve it. Certainly after the after yesterday, a really frustrating one. So let's hope the premium tip and the next best bet come in to make a nice double. Then it's the Little Earner, and then the other horse that makes the lucky 15, if they could come in. Let's have a really big day. So we'll start off as always by looking at the premium tip, and that goes in the 4:55 at Punchestown today. We're heading over to Ireland, over the jumps. I think that's where we've had the majority of our success with the premium tips recently, and maybe we'd have just been struggling a little bit on the flats with these kind of bets, and a horse that really jumped out to me and ticked all the right boxes and made it to the premium tip. As I say, it's in the 4:55 at Punchestown, and it's beat that currently at 7-4, and that's from 2-1 last night and this morning. This horse actually ran a cracker over this distance at Aintree last time out, one of the most exciting horses that came out of the Aintree, the Grand National meeting, I'm sure you'll remember. And I think the horse is going to improve once again after that. That was actually the first run in 4 months, and I think we'll come on for that run as well, and I think we might not have even seen the best of that yet. Should go well again today. I think runs for Nicky Henderson, who, as we know, is a trainer on top of his form at the moment. Barry Geraghty, probably the best jockey around at the moment in terms of form and the way he's riding. He's the man doing the steering, and I certainly think that Beat That looks to be the one to beat. It's a really, really competitive race, there's no doubt about that. We have got an Albert Bartlett winner in this one, but I do perhaps wonder a little bit about that Albert Bartlett form. You know, you had King's Palace kind of flopped a little bit, and then Briar Hill was a faller. Then you do wonder if those two are on top of their game, what might have happened in that Albert Bartlett. But I actually think that Beat That made a decent field look pretty ordinary at Aintree last time out. Should run well here at Punchestown, should enjoy the course. Conditions look to be fine, and I think we're looking at a good bet and a really good premium tip here with Beat That. Hopefully you got that 2-1 a little bit earlier on, but 7-4 the best value you can get now on the premium tip in that 455 at Punchestown. Right, the next best bet of the day. We'll hope that these two don't clash. Hopefully they'll hang on at Pontefract, because that goes in the 5 o'clock at Pontefract, just 5 minutes after the premium tip. And it's Shared Equity is our next best bet of the day, and this is also another 7-4 shot. This horse actually won at Newcastle last time out over this distance, and that was actually the first run of the season and only the third run of this horse's career, so looks to be a really promising horse that is going in the right direction. I think should go well again today. Does need another improvement, no doubt about that, but you'd expect that. You know, not only is this horse lightly raced, but the fact that that first run last time out was so promising, you'd expect another improvement here. And I actually think that the horse will enjoy this faster ground. Looks to be a really exciting prospect. As I say, does look to be decent value for the win as well. Certainly the one to beat in this one, and should have enough quality to come out on top. That's the next best bet, and that's in the 5 o'clock at Pontefract, and it's Shared Equity there at 7-4. Right, the little earner for today, that goes in the 4:45 at Ascot. So we've got a really busy 15 minutes or so coming up there between 4:45 and 5 o'clock, you know, with 3 of our 4 tips running. And our little earner gets 4:45 at Ascot, and it's first post at 7-1 this horse now, and that's from 10-1 last night and this morning, so certainly a bit of support coming for this horse. Actually raced on the all-weather throughout the winter, but had his first run on turf for the season last time out at Newbury, and managed a really respectable third on that day actually. Again, a horse that I'm expecting to improve again today. Drops back to a mile today from a sort of 1 mile 3 furlong trip, and I think that's sure to suit. This is where the horse has produced his best performances so far, and this is the distance that he seems to enjoy at, and this is where best performance comes and a few wins. We'll enjoy the ground today, I don't think there's any doubt about that. And yeah, this is another one who ticked plenty of boxes actually, and I just thought that 10-1 was an absolute each-way steal. You're still getting a bit of each-way value at 7-1, but I wouldn't be surprised to see this horse go off at 5-1. I was actually seeing him napped in a couple of places, and plenty of people going for him last night as their each-way shot. And I think we could have just found an absolute steal there at 10-1. It'd be great to see this horse come out on top, especially if you did get that 10-1 last night. But 7-1 still some good value. I think we're looking at a really good little earner here. As I say, that's in the 4:45 at Ascot, and it's first post at 7-1 from 10s this morning. Right, the lucky 15. We're sticking with this sort of, you know, back to basics system at the moment, with just, you know, still plenty of question marks over the flat. But do remember that if you did want any extra tips or anything, just send me a message or anything like that on Facebook. I've had quite a few messages on Facebook now, and people asking for extra sort of tips. I've had one guy asking for, you know, just an odds-on double every day just to boost his betting bank, and we've landed that in a couple of days from him messaging me. So if you did want anything like that, and if you'd want to, you know, then please do feel free to message me, and then you can put it on the Facebook group or anything like that if you did want to, but that's completely your call. But yeah, we are going to stick with this. It might change in a couple of weeks' time or so once we're sort of well into grips with the flat, but at the moment we're going to stick with this system of just kind of back to basics. And the lucky 15 today, we start off with Dark Ocean, and that's in the 3:20 at Pontefract at around about 3-1. Then it's first post, the little earner, in the 4:45 at Ascot. Beat That in the 4:55 at Punchestown, and then Shared Equity in the 5 o'clock at Pontefract. Your potential returns from £1 stakes for this lucky 15 when, you know, when we had first post at 10-1 and Beat That at 2-1, that was around about 820 odd pounds. I think I would imagine it's going to be more around the sort of 650, 700 mark at the moment, with money coming for a couple of those horses. So do get that lucky 15 on as soon as possible if you did want to do that, or you can alternatively just do them all as singles how they are. That's completely up to you. So they're all the tips for today. If you did want any more or any of the races that we haven't covered, then please, as I say, do not hesitate to get in touch there. That's completely, I would say, one of the big advantages of being on FRT Gold. You can have as many tips as you like. You can back as many horses as you like, or as little as you like. And I am here just to, for you, to help you throughout the day. My main aim for the day is to keep all of you Gold members happy. So anything that you want, then please do feel free to get in touch there. Whether you're watching this video live or not, as I say, you all know me on Facebook. You can see my personal account there and just send out a message. Or, those of you that aren't on the Facebook group, we deal with each other on emails plenty of times. And again, feel free to email there. So also, what I will say actually is, if any of you did want, a daily kind of service that we're not doing at the moment, and perhaps even if it's personal or just for everyone, then feel free to get in touch. If you say to me, look, Joe, I want an odds-on double every day, can you send it to me? Of course I can. That's completely, what FRT Gold is all about. It's about making you, the punter, happy. And, you might think, actually, I don't like the Lucky 15 at all. I'd much rather an odds-on double or a favourites double or something like that. That's absolutely fine. You can get in touch with me there, and I will, I'll jot it down and I can send that to you in an email every day, no problem whatsoever. So, in the 5:30 at Punchestown we're going to look at next, and that's the Punchestown Gold Cup, which is taking place today. We've gone through all of our tips, and I'm just going to say there's just one horse I fancy at Punchestown today, other than Beat That, of course, and I think this might be not controversial, but a little bit of a surprise to many, because we've got the Willie Mullins pair at the top of the market. You've got Boston Bob, which Ruby Walsh has chosen to ride after that Melling Chase win, and then On His Own, who was second in the Gold Cup. And out of those two, I'm siding with On His Own at 4-1 rather than the sort of 11-4 or so you can get on Boston Bob. I think On His Own, I think that Gold Cup, although perhaps maybe not the strongest of Gold Cups would have seen, I think On His Own ran a cracker and was actually really unlucky not to be given the race. I think when you lose by a short head and you can quite clearly see that the horses, almost cut you up a little bit, I don't see how Lord Windermere didn't have an advantage, but that's gone. And I just think perhaps Ruby might have picked the wrong one here. Could be completely wrong, but I'd be starting with the value on His Own. I'd rather take a second in a Gold Cup to a winner of a Melling Chase, especially as that Melling Chase was over 2.5, although Boston Bob showed a superb turn of foot and some excellent speed there. 3 miles, it's a tough trip today, and I just wonder whether sometimes Boston Bob's jumping isn't the best. He does make plenty of mistakes, and I think he might be a bit more found out there. On His Own, proven over this trip, sure to stay. I'd be siding with On His Own in this one. Yeah, that second in the Gold Cup was good. And you look, he beat, although Silviano Conti wasn't perhaps at his best there, Silviano Conti actually then went on to land the Betfred Bob at Aintree, and On His Own beat him on that day. So the Gold Cup form has actually worked out pretty well, if we're being honest there. So I'd be siding in that 5:30 at Punchestown with On His Own. Do let me know your thoughts on that. Are you going to have are you going to give Long Run another chance at an each way price? That could go one better than last year. So that's what I'm fancying at Punchestown today. I gave a couple of tips yesterday, and we were a bit unlucky there with Module being pulled up after badly hampered by a faller, and I think it was Hidden Cyclone, the faller, wasn't it? And Module badly hampered, and Barry Garrity just had to pull him up straight away because I don't think he had any chance after that. That was frustrating. But yeah, we're hoping that our luck will turn around today. Of course, primarily we're on the premium tip and the next best bet to do the business. If Little Anna can do well as well, and Lucky 15, that would be great. And then also if we can hit this winner with On His Own at Punchestown, it's not so much a tip, but I'm just telling you what I fancy in that race. So that's what I fancy there. Just want to talk a little bit quickly, just while we've got time, about Forheen's performance yesterday. Wow, for those of you who didn't see it, get on YouTube if you can, or just see if you can get some race replays, because Forheen ran over 2 miles, over a 2 mile hurdle race there, and wow, just incredible. Made all and won by an absolute mile. He's up against some really good horses. The likes of Sergeant Reckless. Was a really good horse, but made them all just look bang average. I think we could be seeing another champion hurdle here. Is this the horse that's ready to carry on from Hurricane Fly? Hurricane Fly perhaps retired soon, and then will this horse, Will Forheen, be the one that takes over his crown? But who knows? I think Willie Mullins is still quite keen to go chasing, but after that performance, he looks every bit champion hurdle horse to me, and his jumping was superb. That was the big question about this horse. Everyone said he's got bags of speed, but his jumping right up to it, jumped so well. And Ruby Walsh said he thought that the run at Cheltenham would improve his jumping, where he's a little bit shaky, but had the speed and quality to get rid of them. And yeah, jumped superbly there, and well done to Forheen. I think if you don't get excited about that, then you're not in the right sport. Also, finally, Sizing Europe. What a horse, 12 years old, now retired. Retired after his win yesterday at Punchestown. Not many could believe that he quite managed to win that one, but he loves Punchestown. It wasn't up against the strongest of horses, wasn't up against, this was in the championship, wasn't up against a Sprinter Sacre or a Sire de Grugy. He actually gave Sprinter Sacre a really hard race in this one last year. I'm sure many of you will remember. And it was great to see Sizing Europe win that one, but it was announced after that the 12-year-old was retired. He goes out as a champion. That's deserved. What a horse he's been. And just quickly, while we're on those kind of horses, Sprinter Sacre, Nicky Henderson said he's all set for the Tingle Creek Chase in December. Obviously a long way away, but that's the aim for Nicky Henderson, to send him to the Tingle Creek in December, and that will be a match with Sire de Grugy, I'm sure, which, although it is 8 months or so away, you can't help but get excited about. But let's focus on today to begin with, and yeah, not only the action from Punchestown, but all of the flat action today. Hopefully we can turn our luck around, have a really good day. Remember, any extra tips or anything like that you want, please do feel free to get in touch. You all know my contact details by now, but thank you so much for watching today. The sun's shining, let's hope for a really good day, and I'll speak to you all a little bit later on. Thanks, and bye-bye.